King David, the legendary ruler of Israel, felt the chill of his final days approaching. His strength, once mighty, now waned like the setting sun, yet his spirit remained strong, his mind sharp. He summoned Solomon, his son and chosen heir, to his bedside. The weight of the kingdom rested heavy on David's heart. He looked upon Solomon, his eyes filled with a father's love and a king's foresight. His words carried the weight of experience and wisdom. David's final instructions were not about earthly conquests. They were a father's heartfelt plea, a king's solemn charge. "Be strong and show yourself a man," he urged Solomon. He impressed upon his son the importance of honoring their covenant with God. "Keep the charge of the Lord your God," David commanded. True strength lay in unwavering obedience to the divine will. David emphasized the consequences of both obedience and disobedience. He spoke of God's promise. The Davidic line would endure if they remained faithful. But he also warned of divine retribution should they stray. He urged Solomon to be strong for the future of their dynasty. It was a weighty charge, a legacy passed down from father to son. David's counsel went beyond the grand pronouncements of kingship and delved into the heart of true leadership. He urged Solomon to walk in the ways of the Lord, reminding him that true strength stemmed from spiritual uprightness. This wasn't merely about adhering to a set of rules, but about cultivating a heart devoted to God, a spirit attuned to his will. David knew that Solomon's success as a king hinged upon his faithfulness to their covenant with God. Recognizing the challenges that lay ahead for his young heir, David also stressed the importance of wisdom. He knew that ruling a kingdom demanded more than just strength and courage. It required discernment, the ability to navigate complex situations, to judge fairly, and to make wise decisions that would ensure the prosperity and security of Israel. This wisdom, David emphasized, was not something Solomon could acquire through sheer intellect or political maneuvering. It was a gift from God, granted to those who sought it with a sincere heart. David's grip on life finally loosened, and he breathed his last. His death marked the end of an era, the passing of a giant who had shaped Israel's destiny. Yet it was also a beginning, the dawn of Solomon's reign. The mantle of leadership now fell upon the young king's shoulders, and he was tasked with the daunting responsibility of filling his father's considerable shoes. The eyes of the nation, and indeed of God, were upon him. The death of a king, even a beloved one, inevitably creates ripples of uncertainty within a kingdom. It is a time of transition, a power vacuum that can be exploited by those seeking to advance their own ambitions. David, aware of this delicate balance, had taken steps to ensure a smooth transition of power. He had publicly declared Solomon his successor, and the young prince had the backing of powerful figures like the prophet Nathan and the warrior Benaiah. Despite David's careful planning, Solomon's claim to the throne was not unchallenged. Adonijah, one of David's older sons, saw an opportunity to seize power. He had already gathered a following, including the influential priest Abiathar and the renowned warrior Joab, both of whom had been loyal to David. Adonijah's ambition threatened to tear the kingdom apart, undoing all that David had striven to build. Solomon, guided by both his father's final instructions and divine wisdom, acted swiftly and decisively to quell the brewing rebellion. He exposed Adonijah's treachery, forcing him to publicly acknowledge Solomon's rightful claim to the throne. Yet Solomon's response was not driven by vengeance or a lust for power. He showed mercy to Adonijah, sparing his life, at least for the time being. However, he knew that unchecked ambition could fester and reignite, posing a constant threat to his rule. Solomon banished Abiathar, stripping him of his priestly duties, and ordered the execution of Joab, a grim but necessary act to solidify his authority and prevent further unrest. Even in the midst of these turbulent events, there were echoes of David's influence, subtle reminders of the legacy Solomon inherited. Like his father, Solomon showed a willingness to temper justice with mercy. Solomon initially spared Adonijah's life, hoping he would learn from his past mistake and accept his position under the new reign. But when Adonijah requested Abishag, the woman who had cared for King David, it became clear he couldn't leave things alone. This bold move angered Solomon, and it ultimately led to Adonijah's downfall. Similarly, when dealing with Shimei, a man who had cursed David, Solomon offered a chance for redemption. Solomon restricted Shimei to stay within Jerusalem, a move that served as both a warning and a form of protection. However, when Shimei left the city violating the king's command, he too faced the ultimate consequence for his disobedience. These early actions of Solomon's reign, marked by both decisive action and measured restraint, hinted at the wisdom and sense of justice that would come to define his rule. They also served as a powerful reminder of the enduring legacy of King David, a legacy built on faith, courage, and the unwavering pursuit of God's will. Solomon, though facing his own unique challenges, seemed poised to carry the torch of his father's legacy, leading Israel into a new era of peace and prosperity. Are you ready for the next chapter? Just click here to go straight to it.